Greetings, beautiful soul of the universe. Kai here, and I hope you're having a beautiful, beautiful day wherever you currently are in the world. I want to ask you a question. Have you ever strived for a goal or had a goal in mind, and in the process of obtaining the goal, you found a way to self-sabotage? Or in the process of making changes in your life so that you could be or do or have more in the life that you are currently living, you have found a way to sabotage that success or sabotage that progress. If so, this video is going to really be valuable for you. And this topic is something that is so close to my heart because I was literally the person that self-sabotaged all the time. So I really want to break down what the root cause of your self-sabotage is, why you keep on self-sabotaging, and really what needs to change in order for you to break through and break free from the shackles that self-sabotage has imposed on your life. And I hope that after this video, you create some actionable steps and there's some clarity and new frameworks for you to start to adopt so that you can start to build that momentum. And rather than feeling like you're taking one step forward and 3 steps back, you're just continuing on that momentum. So there are 3 main reasons why you self-sabotage. And if I look back on my journey and I look back onto all of the times that I have self-sabotaged, which, to be quite frank, have been more times than my hands can count. I've sabotaged so frequently throughout my life that I once created a belief that every single year I self-sabotage. Now, our brain seeks for evidence of things to be true based off our model and our framework of the world. So you can see how by having that belief that every single year I would self-sabotage, I would seek evidence for that to be true and then eventually self-sabotage. And it wasn't until I learned what I'm about to share with you today, it wasn't until I learned those, I guess, patterns, and I became aware of the belief systems, and I became aware of the unconscious behaviors and the programming that I had basically been indoctrinated with, and then therefore lived my life by. It wasn't until I became aware of those things that life really started to change for me. But once I actually understood the patterns, which I'm going to share with you in this video, it wasn't until I really understood them that life around me, within me, and beyond me started to change. So there are 3 main reasons that I have kind of broken down to really start to understand why I self-sabotaged so much. And the very first one is that deep down, you don't believe that you deserve what it is that you're seeking for. Deep down, you don't believe what it is that you're seeking for. So you might have a goal, and your goal might be to build your dream body, right? However, you seek for that goal and you strive for that goal in a place of lack, because deep down, your body and your brain don't actually believe that you deserve to have the body that you desire. So what happens? You push towards your goal, you strive towards your goal, you take action towards your goal, but your belief system is that deep down you are not worthy or you are not good enough. in order to create what it is that you desire. You see, most people will go through life striving for goals and have an innate belief that they don't actually deserve it or they're not worthy. So they operate from a place of lack, and they operate from a place of, I am not going to be good enough until I have obtained. I'm not going to be good enough until I have obtained. And for much of my life, that was the case. I had a belief that unless I reached a certain status point in my life, that I was not worthy and I was not good enough. So what I did unconsciously was I sought for evidence that that was the truth. And in the case of, building my dream body, I would get really, really quick results. I would take massive, massive action to go to the gym, to eat well, to be consistent, and then something would happen and then I would just sabotage it. Not only would I sabotage it, I would actually end up worse than when I had started. And I don't know if that resonates with you, but if it does, there's a reason. And it's because deep down, you don't believe unconsciously that you deserve what it is that you're seeking for. Now, reason number 2, or the second reason why you continue to self-sabotage in your life, is that you actually get certainty from your self-sabotage. So what that actually means is that you know what that self-sabotage feels like. It gives you a sense of emotional comfort. It gives you a sense of belonging because you know what it feels like, and you know that when you feel this way in a sick and twisted way, it's actually within your control. And the reason why this is so important to understand and know is that one of the core human needs is our need for certainty, right? We need to be certain in certain aspects of our life in order to function normally, right? But when you seek certainty and you get certainty from your self-sabotaging behaviors, what will continue to happen is that self-sabotage will just continue to manifest itself. And it will manifest itself into your personal life, it will manifest itself into your professional life, and it will manifest itself into all of the other areas of your life that you deem important. And it's not until you learn to really break free from that, longing or that clinging to the certainty that the self-sabotage gives you, that you'll be able to let it go. In other words, you'll continue to self-sabotage as long as you create a sense of certainty from the negative behaviors or the self-sabotaging behaviors that you are currently performing in your day-to-day life. Now, the third reason, and this is the biggest reason that people continue to self-sabotage in their life, and it's that your identity, your actual identity, your core beliefs is anchored in self-sabotaging patterns. So we can never outgrow who we believe that we are. And for me, and for most of my life, I continued to self-sabotage because that was the identity that I created for my personality, right? I created that identity for my personality. And I don't know if that resonates with you, but the reason why it's so important for me to share this on this video is because your identity literally creates every single aspect of your life. As Earl Nightingale once said in The Stranger's Secret, we become what we think about. And people that have, I guess, consistent patterns of self-sabotage, they focus on what they don't have. They focus on what they lack. They operate their life and their business and their professional and personal situations and circumstances from a place where they don't have enough, or they're not good enough, or they're not worthy enough. So what ends up happening is their identity gets anchored in these self-sabotaging patterns or these self-sabotaging vibrations. And then what happens furthermore is that, they continue to hold on to emotions of like apathy and anger and fear and guilt and sadness. And it becomes a ripple effect. And it continues to manifest itself again and again and again and again and again and again. And when I learned this, I realized that in order to actually make those changes permanently, I had to actually remove the things that were causing the self-sabotage in the first place, that were causing me to believe that deep down I didn't deserve what it was that I was seeking, that made me believe that the self-sabotage was actually keeping me safe, that made me believe that my identity was a person that self-sabotaged. And you might be asking, Kai, like, how do you actually clear this? Like, this sounds good. Theoretically, yeah, it might make sense, but how do I get to a point where I'm free from the shackles that self-sabotage have created in my life? Well, I will say that there is one reason. There was one reason that I actually broke through. One reason. And it was I shifted my identity. I shifted my entire identity. I had to start to seek for evidence that I actually deserved what it was that I was seeking for. I had to seek for evidence that I was in fact worthy. I had to seek for evidence that I was in fact good enough to obtain the life that I had always desired, to obtain a life where I was free from the shackles of self-sabotage. And then I also needed to start to get certainty in the process of breaking through. Up until I made the decision, I actually got certainty from this self-sabotage. And how I did that was, one, I started to really look at where my self-sabotage came from. What was causing it? At which part in my life did it start? What happened in my childhood for me to form the beliefs, to form the certainty, and ultimately to form the identity of someone that self-sabotaged? So it was a deep process. It was a long process. It was a hard process. And I believe that I needed to go through that process in order to be in a position where eventually I broke free from this self-sabotage. Now, you might be in a place right now where your patterns are consistent with the things that I've shared. You want to create more out of life. You want to succeed. You want to be in a position where you're making leaps and bounds of improvement in comparison to where you are right now. But until you shift your identity, you actually believe and you start to create the beliefs of someone that deserves the success in which they are seeking. And until you start to see that this self-sabotage is no longer serving you at the unconscious level, you'll continue to manifest and manifest and manifest these patterns. So what I've basically created is a framework to help people break free from these patterns. Because when you do, all of the things in which you desire start to manifest because you become someone that is worthy. You become someone that is deserving. You become someone that is loved enough to create what it is that they desire. You see, all people are seeking for is validation that they actually deserve what it is that they want. But most people will spend their life seeking validation externally to give them the significance for them to actually feel like they're good enough. And that was me. That was me for pretty much my whole life. Seeking for that significance, seeking for that validation to prove to the world that I was in fact worthy and good enough and deserving of love. But now, I live in a life, or I live in a body where I'm free from that need to feel significant and get all of this praise and receive all of this love and, receive all of this, I guess, accolades, all these accolades for my own success. I just simply feel successful. My identity now matches the results that I want to create in the future. And I create them in the present moment. And therefore, the future now matches my present. Whereas before, the future was so far out there that just by thinking about the future, I just didn't believe that I deserved it. So if you're really wanting to make these changes, you must first believe that you deserve the goal in which you are seeking. The second thing is you need to remove the certainty that you are currently getting from the self-sabotage. And last but not least, you need to shift your identity so that self-sabotage is no longer anchored in your subconscious mind. And then once you do, well, what happens after is quite phenomenal. You change everything. You change your relationship with your mind. You change your relationship with your body and your heart and your soul and your spirit. And then therefore you start to change the relationship with the results that you are getting externally in your life. So I hope this video was valuable. And if it was, leave a like, leave a comment down below, and just let me know if this was something that resonated with you. Because if it is, I would love to know. I'm sending you so much love, and I hope you are doing really, really well. And I've been really enjoying creating these videos for you, so I really, really hope to make more. But that's it from me, and yeah, I hope you have a fantastic evening. Talk soon. Bye.